Hi, I'm Rosie with Grit City Wellness. I'm going to guide you through a brief hip opening practice. And one of the things that you might want to have for this practice today is either a folded up blanket or maybe a bath towel. We're going to be doing some work on our knees, and so this will provide a little extra padding for your knees when we get to that. So today we're going to start off our practice lying on our back. So finding a comfortable position here on your back, just lowering yourself down. And let's go ahead and keep the knees bent with the feet on the floor. And just take a moment here to just settle. Just notice what it feels like to lay on the back. Take a moment to notice your breath. Take a deep inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. Let's do that again. Inhale through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. And then just breathe. As you feel ready, start to draw your right knee in toward the chest. So interlacing the fingers, placing them on the top of that knee, and just give that knee a very gentle hug here. And then take the knee into the right hand and start to make some circles here with that knee. So even though it seems like we're circling the knee, that motion's really coming from the hip. So really getting into that ball and socket joint. If you want bigger circles, you can let go of the knee with the hand and then just let the leg go and make really big circles here, if that feels good. And then if you haven't switched directions already, go ahead and do so, taking it the other way. And then bring the knee back into the chest, giving it again another gentle hug. Take the knee into the right hand again. And from here, you can either start to open this knee to the right. So again, opening through the hip. If you want a little more sensation, you can actually bend the knee this way and place your hand on top of the sole of your foot, and you can open your hip like this. Up to you what you're looking for though here. So whichever variation you chose, stay here for one more breath. And then bring that knee back to center. And let's just give it one last gentle squeeze, drawing it up toward that right shoulder. And then go ahead and release the right foot back down to your mat. Draw the left knee in. Again, just gentle hug here. And then as we did with the other side, take that left knee in the left hand and start to make some circles. Or if you wanted your bigger circles, release the hand from the knee and just really let the leg go big here. Switch direction with your circles. And then let's bring that knee back into center. Give it another little hug. And then just taking it into the left hand again, either open that knee to the left, or you can have the sole of the foot up toward the ceiling and take hold of the bottom of that foot and then just draw that knee down. We're opening the hip this way. Again, picking which one feels best for you. What does your body need right now? And let's go ahead and release that. Let's bring the knee back into the chest. One more gentle squeeze here. And then release the left foot back down to the floor. Let's take the right ankle. We're going to cross it over the left knee. And just stay here for a moment and just notice how this feels. And maybe think about drawing that right knee away from your face. So almost like you're trying to draw it toward the wall in front of you. just notice what's happening there. You might be feeling a little bit of sensation in the outer right hip. Now you're welcome to stay right here. If you are looking for a little bit of a deeper stretch, you can start to raise the left foot off of the floor. And if it's accessible to you, maybe wrap your hands around the back of the left thigh. And the more you draw that left thigh in towards you, you're going to really feel this in the outer right hip. Take a deep breath here. Let's go ahead and release the left foot back down to the floor if you had it lifted. Uncross the right ankle. Other side, left ankle across the right knee. Stay here for a moment, just notice how this side feels. It might feel totally different on this side. Our bodies are not symmetrical, so what felt one way on one side might feel totally different on the other. Now you're welcome to stay here if you feel like you're getting a nice stretch in the outer left hip. Otherwise, start to lift that right foot, drawing that thigh toward you, and you can stay here or interlace the fingers behind the right thigh. And of course, the more you draw the thigh towards you, the more stretch you're going to feel in the outer right hip. Take a deep breath here. And go ahead and lower that right foot and then cross the left ankle. And just sway your knees a little bit here from side to side. And then we're going to make our way up, right? So you can either roll over to one side and push yourself up, or rock along the length of your spine. And we're going to make our way to our hands and knees. So this is maybe where you would like to have your blanket. I'm going to place my blanket in the middle of my mat, and I'm going to place my knees on it. And so we're going to come into table pose. So the knees are underneath the hips, wrists are underneath the shoulders. If you have any sensitivity in your wrists, you can come up on your fists here. Another thing you can do is maybe walk the hands out a couple of inches, and that might feel better on the wrists. So here in table, we're going to lengthen through the spine, up through the crown of the head, and then we're going to do a few rounds of our cat-cow. So take a deep inhale, lower the belly toward the floor, lift the tailbone, lift your gaze, broadening across your collarbones. Exhale, push in with your hands. We're going to round the spine, drawing the navel towards the spine for cat pose. Inhale, coming back into cow. Exhale, coming into cat. And inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Let's do 2 more of these at your own pace and with your own breath. And after your second round, let's meet in table pose and bring the mounds of your toes together, and then we're going to bring our knees wide. And we're going to start to shift the hips back toward the heels, and our body's going to come between our knees. We're going to come into child's pose here. So this wide-legged child's pose allows us to get a little bit more into the hips. Just take a couple of breaths here. And then slowly start to draw yourself back up to table. And let's bring the knees so that they're underneath the hips again. Take your right leg and we're going to step it up toward the front of our mat. So the left knee is down, right foot is up at the top of our mat, and we're going to start to bring ourselves upright, coming into a lunge. And I'm going to scoot that front foot out maybe just a few inches so that my knee is not directly above the ankle. Ankle's actually in front of the knee a few inches. And then I'm going to just slowly guide into a lunge here. And what I'm looking for is that the knee it's either right above the ankle or slightly behind. I just don't want my knee to go past my ankle. Then go ahead and release that, come out of it a little bit. So we're gliding back. And then we're gonna glide forward again. So you're gonna feel this a little bit in this right hip. You're also gonna be stretching out through the front of the left hip. So we're just gliding front and back. Just noticing how this feels. And the next time you find yourself back into your lunge, staying right here, you might really be feeling a stretch here in the front of the left hip. Take a couple of deep breaths here. And slowly start to release that lunge. Bring your hands back down to your mat, and then let's sweep that right foot back so the knee is back on the blanket. And just sway your hips from side to side here. And let's bring the hips back to center, and we're going to walk this left foot up to the front of our mat. And again, bringing ourselves up into our lunge position. I have the left ankle is a couple of inches ahead of this left knee. And I'm gonna come into my lunge, just noticing that the knee, making sure it's not overshooting the ankle. And then I'm just gonna glide here, just coming in and out of this lunge, very slowly. Just noticing how this feels in the hips. Waking up the front of that right hip. And then the next time you come into the lunge, just stay here. We're gonna hold this. You can just keep your hands on your thigh if you like right now. Go ahead and take one more deep breath here. And then start to come out of that lunge, bringing the hands back down to the floor. We're going to scoot that leg back. Tuck your toes and start to send your hips back toward your toes. So I still have my hands down on my mat, and I'm sitting back toward my toes here. This gives us a little stretch on the bottom of our foot. So even though we're really focusing on hips, there's other areas of our body we can focus on too. Nice little foot stretch here. And then as you feel ready, start to walk your hands back toward you, lift the knees, and then we're gonna come up to a standing position. On your way up, you might want to take your blanket and move it off to the side. So making your way to standing. Come to the center of your mat, and you're gonna face the long edge of the mat. And let's take a step out with our feet, maybe 2.5 or so feet, 2.5 feet. And my toes are gonna be pointed out a little bit at an angle, like 45 degrees. And then start to bend the knees, coming into a little bit of a squat here. You decide how low you wanna come. Maybe your squat is up here, and this is great. You're really still opening up your hips here. If you wanna come a little bit lower, you can. Just feel this for a moment. Check that the knees are over the ankles. Let's take a deep inhale. We're gonna straighten the legs, we're gonna sweep the arms up, and we're gonna make a star shape. And then exhale, coming back down into this squat, just placing the hands on the thighs. Good, inhale, coming up into our star. And exhale, coming down into our squat. Maybe you go a little lower. Inhale, sweeping up. Exhale, squatting. Let's inhale one more time, sweep up. Exhale, come into that squat. And just hold here for a couple of breaths. Are you able to stay tall in your spine? Knees are over the ankles. Maybe you can come down 1/2 inch lower. And then go ahead, straighten the legs. And then let's point the toes so that they are facing the long edge of the mat. Keep your left toes facing the long edge of the mat, and let's turn the right toes to the front of the mat. We're gonna prepare for warrior two. So come into to warrior two. So we're gonna bend that right knee, float the arms up to shoulder height. Just take a moment here to just check in, just feel your hips. Are you able to keep your hips fairly level here? Let's flip our palms so that they are facing up toward the ceiling. Take a deep inhale, and let's sweep the right hand back, coming into reverse warrior. Left hand comes to the back of the left leg. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, pass through warrior two, and then place that forearm on the right thigh, coming into side angle. And let's start off with the left hand here on the hip, spinning that chest open. If you'd like, maybe you can start to extend the left arm alongside the left ear. Lengthening through the spine, breathe. Go ahead and inhale, come back to warrior two. Stay here for just a breath or so. Let's go ahead and straighten that front leg. Lower the arms and turn the right toes so they're facing the long edge of the mat. Now we're gonna turn left toes so they're facing the short edge of the mat. Warrior two on this side. So bend your left knee, and again, just checking in that the knee's not overshooting the ankle. Your range of motion might be different on this side, so you might need to change your spacing a little bit, and that's fine. When you feel ready, float the arms up to shoulder height. Growing tall in the spine. Very powerful pose. Lots of energy rooting down through the feet, up through the crown of the head, and energy radiating out our fingertips. Take a deep inhale. We're going to sweep this left arm back. Right hand comes to the back of the right thigh, reverse warrior. Lengthening through the left side body. Inhale, and then exhale, passing through warrior two, bringing left forearm to the thigh, coming into this side angle pose. The right hand can stay on the hip, or you can start to extend it along the right ear. Check in with your breath here. Make sure your breath is steady. If for any reason you find it difficult to breathe, you might just need to come out of the pose a little bit. And then inhale, coming back up to warrior two. And then let's straighten that front leg, lower the arms, and let's turn your toes. So both sets of toes are now facing the long edge of the mat. And let's go ahead and actually scoot the feet in just a little bit. Toes are now going to be pointing out at 45 degrees. We're going to come back into this squat. Placing both hands here right above the knees. Take a deep inhale, grow tall in the spine. Exhale, start to bring the left shoulder over toward the right knee. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, go the other direction. Good. Inhale, center. Exhale, left knee to right, or left shoulder to right knee. Inhale, coming back to center. Right shoulder to left knee. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, exhale. So you can use this opposite hand to kind of push this knees open, opening the hips a little more. Inhale, center. Exhale, other side. Inhale, come back to center. Let's straighten the legs. Point the toes to the long edge of the mat. Maybe make your stance a little bit wider. Hands are going to come to the hips. Take a deep inhale, grow tall in the spine. And then exhale, keeping that leg start to hinge forward from the hips. Maybe the hands start to come down the thighs. Stop here when you're about halfway down. Just notice. I'm going to scoot my feet out a little bit more, and then I'm going to slowly start to fold forward. You can either keep your hands on your shins or bring your hands down in front of you on your mat or your fingertips. And then just allow yourself to be here. Take a couple more deep breaths here. And then slowly start to bring yourself halfway up. What I like to do is I like to bend my knees and place my hands here on my thighs. So I stop about halfway up. And then I'm going to slowly bring myself all the way back up. Good. Let's go ahead and heel toe the feet together. And then we're going to make our way back down to the floor. So however you'd like to do that. Bring the soles of the feet together. And you can either hold on to your shins or your ankles and just stay here for a moment and just work on lengthening through the spine, up through the crown of the head. Take a deep inhale. And then exhale, keeping that length. Maybe draw yourself forward about an inch or two. So I'm moving my hands to my toes. Just staying here. Noticing how this feels in the hips. You're welcome to stay right here. If you feel like you're getting a really nice stretch here, you don't need to go any further. If you would like a little more sensation, take a deep inhale. And then exhale, maybe bring yourself down another inch. And again, you can stay here. Otherwise, deep inhale. And then exhale, you can just round your spine, start to lower the head down. Just allow yourself to fold over here. And then slowly start to lift the head if you had it lowered. And then just bring your fingertips to the floor and start to walk yourself back up. Bring your hands to the outsides of the knees, close the knees, and let's extend the legs out in front. So we're going to cross the right knee over this extended left leg. And so the right foot is on the floor. If for any reason this doesn't feel comfortable, you can also just cross the leg like this and have the knee down instead of having the foot on the floor like this. Either way is going to be good. So we have the left leg extended, right leg is crossed. Just take your hands here for a second and just work with hugging into this knee here. So I'm lengthening up through my spine. I'm drawing my belly towards that right thigh. My left foot, I still have it flexed. There's still activity in that left foot. Take a deep inhale, grow tall. And then on the exhale, start to bring the left arm around that right knee and start to twist to the right. And if the elbow doesn't want to come around the knee, the hand is fine. You can just use your hand here. Bring your right fingertips behind you on the floor and just twist. Notice how your breath moves while you're in this twist. Notice whether you're still able to breathe deeply. And if it's hard to breathe deeply, maybe come out of your twist just a little bit. Then slowly bring yourself back to center. We're gonna cross that right leg, maybe shake out the legs a little. Let's cross left leg now over the right. And again, you can have just the ankle over that right knee if that feels better. And just hug into your thigh here, hugging the belly into the thigh. Deep inhale, grow tall. And then exhale, bringing the right arm around this left knee. Left fingertips come to the floor behind you and twist. to the left. Take one more deep breath here. And then slowly start to come out of your twist. Come back to center. Let's release that left leg. Again, just shake out the legs. And then just find a comfortable seated position, maybe a nice cross-legged position. And to conclude our practice, we're just going to sit in silence for a brief moment. Have your hands resting either on your knees or on your thighs. Your eyes can be opened or closed. Just to take a moment here, just notice any sort of sensation you're feeling in your body. Notice how you're feeling mentally after that brief practice. Notice your breath. Just take a couple more deep breaths here. And if your eyes were closed, gently start to flutter them back open. You can bring your hands to heart center. I want to thank you for joining me for this practice today. I hope it served you. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.